The CWSFL Season 14 draft is finally here. I know it's been quite some time with the snowstorms. Draft's been postponed. Rookies have been waiting, man. They've been waiting, all 25 of them, to figure out where they're going, what the team is going to be, and where it's home for the next few seasons. But, man, let me tell you, we got a good one here. We got a lot of great prospects that have entered their name into the draft. And then we got a lot of teams, man, ready to make some moves. And really tear this draft class up, because it's one of our better draft classes I think that we've had here in the past few seasons. Well, I guess maybe deeper draft class. And it's going to be a lot of fun to see where everybody lands. We have the Bangkok Pandas on the clock for the number one overall pick. They had to trade to get that. Defending champions as well. It's crazy. Defending champs and then taking the number one overall pick. But Pro Goat was involved in that trade for that first overall pick, and a young fellow as well. And Steph Curry, I guess more of an athlete because he's a running back but he's going to play receiver for the Blackguard. And they got sent over there to Bermuda for the first overall pick. So we'll see how the Pandas choose to play that one out, as they'll come on the clock here just shortly. And then the Gazelles and Pumas will follow. And what's crazy is the Gazelles have 2 picks inside the top 5, and so do the Pumas. So two teams that are really in Pandas are now on the clock here. We'll see how they choose to go. But 2 teams that are really looking to rebuild, or that are in a rebuild and trying to capitalize here on a deep draft. We'll see how they choose to play. But the Bangkok Pandas are on the clock, and it looks like they are going to get ready and make their selection. We'll choose who is going to be playing for the defending champs next season. It's going to be a lot of fun. And it's going to be Samuel Brown Jr., a tight end, man, that came into the draft as a prospect labeled and compared to Kyle Pitts. Went through a few prospect bowls, came out and the man looking like Travis Kelce out there, man. Tony Gonzalez, some of the greats, man. Shannon Sharp, that's what you're seeing from some of the ceiling from Samuel Brown Jr. Was a little bit of an unknown, man, but he's really made a name for himself and is the first overall pick here in the Season 14 draft. Congratulations, Samuel Brown Jr. And the Ghana Gazelles now are on the clock. Like I said earlier, they have 2 picks here in the top 5, 3 picks in the top 10 overall. It's going to be interesting to see how they play this. They have a lot of holes to fill. They have a new GM, and he knows what he wants here in this draft. He's done a ton of scouting, and he's ready to make his first selection here in this one. And it looks like he's going on the defensive side with Alex Stain. Wow, he's a DB that looks like he's one of the versatile ones that could play safety or corner. It's going to be interesting to see how the Gazelles choose to use them. They had a great DB selection last year. Now they're going with another one here in the first round. First pick for the Gazelles. Second pick overall, Alex Stain. And now the Sao Paulo Pumas are coming on the clock. They have back-to-back picks here at 3 and 4. They got this 4th overall pick from the Pharaohs, which will be on the clock next. So we'll see how they choose to play this. The offense is young. They're looking good. They got guys like Chasing Dreams, Nathan Bodie, good young quarterbacks. Jackson Graves can really run the ball as well. Dual threat. Look fantastic in that year 1 to year 2 leap. We'll see how he goes into year 3. So they need defense. You got to think both these picks are defense. And look at that, Riley O'Connell, a big-time cornerback going to the Pumas, man. That's exactly what they need, man. They have already a good couple young secondary pieces. Now, after losing a little bit on the defensive side of what they did have from that linebacker core, they choose to fill it up in the draft, a defensive back. Great pick right there. He killed it in the prospect bowls. Really made a name for himself again. And another one of those unknown players when he came into this draft. But after a few prospect bowls and some interviews with some of these teams, man, really shot up the boards. Became a top prospect here, especially by AWSN. They really liked him as well. I think he was a 5-star, I believe. Could be wrong on that one, but I believe he was a 5-star. And it looks like on their second pick, the Sao Paulo Pumas are going to select Shaquille O'Neal. Wow, a defensive lineman. That is an excellent pickup right there, man. A big fella who can really move, man. He's versatile. You can put him on as a D tackle. You can play him as a D lineman. Man, this guy is versatile. He's going to be a good one, and he's a prospect that he's a little raw right now. Hasn't been playing the game too long, so he might be more of a development piece. But it is a great pickup here for the Pumas, man. It's one of those guys you're going to want to watch out and see how his career unfolds. It picks up into a good spot there. Great pickup there. Two good pickups by the Pumas. The Gazelles are back on the clock here for the 5th overall pick. They went defense and Alex Stain with that second pick earlier in the draft. Now they're back here. We've seen 3 straight defensive players now. Will we go 4th here with the Gazelles? Like I said earlier, they got a lot of holes to fill, and they're going to slowly start doing it here with this draft because it is deep and they have a lot of picks. And they're going to select Lester Jr., man. Ooh, a speedy wide receiver, man. A late prospect into this draft. Related to big-time tight end from the Pharaohs. Played there for a few seasons, Lester. He had a good career there. Now we got Lester Jr. coming in. This guy's a receiver. A little bit quicker than Lester from back in the day from the Pharaohs. But this guy, man, he's good. He's going to make sure, man, to keep a name going because he's already got some legacy here in the CWSFL and doesn't want to bring it down. So that's a good pickup there. Got a DB and then went on the offensive side and picked up a wide receiver. Man, we'll see how they choose to play that 3rd draft pick that they got later on. But Houston Stags on the clock, man. This is a big-time pick. It's a first-time William Simpson GM, his first selection with the Stags after long-time GM Steve Yandy retires, steps up into an owner role. First pick, William Simpson and the Houston Stags like Cwsfl business from the University of Tennessee, man. Great pickup right there. That is an athletic running back. They lost one of their running backs, Steve Yandy, legend, man, to play it all to retirement, like I said earlier. And then another running back they had looks to have seen to be disappeared. He has not reported to training camp yet as we have preseason getting ready to start. So they go quick. Cwsfl businessman, a dominant running back out of Tennessee, man. This dude can do it all. He's a strong back, but also not only can he receive and he can run the ball really well, but he knows how to block. It's a good pickup right there, and he should be a big help with the Dominic Maupin there in the backfield, protecting him some there and also taking the workload off. But now we got the Argos Pegasus on the clock, man, their first selection here, and it looks like they're going to go Tank Downs, a little surprise here of a pass rusher. A lot of people thought he might enter the draft here as a linebacker, more of an outside linebacker, but now he said he's a D lineman, he's a D end. You put him there and he's going to get after the quarterback and he's going to contain and stop that run. Tank Downs, man. Argos Pegasus, good pickup right there. After losing, I believe it was Wilkerson this offseason, he is on his way. I think he went to the Hellhounds, but it's a good pickup, good replacement for them right there. Minnesota Polar Bears on the clock, and man, let me tell you, they lost a lot. They lost their GM, Paul Blackman. They lost the player, Paul Blackman, to retirement. They lost their quarterback in Cody Parks. They lost a lot of other receivers, man. Iron Vontayanis, Jen Jettas, they not there anymore. Clout, legendary tight end for the Polar Bears. He's gone, retired. They lost a lot, but it doesn't matter. Leroy Collins, elusive running back. He's on the way to the Minnesota Polar Bears. That is a top tier pickup because he's related to Herb Collins, man. One of the best athletes we've seen here in the CWSFL. So Leroy Collins, he's a running back. They got Ragnar Rushington. No shot Ragnar's not playing running back, and he's not the starting running back for the Minnesota Polar Bears next year. So it's going to be interesting to see if Leroy Collins is an elusive running back, but look, he can play a lot. He played a lot of receivers, some back in high school. I believe they tried to move him to DB and in college, but he just really wanted to play that running back spot. So he can play a lot of positions, man. So we'll see how it turns out for the Minnesota Polar Bears when preseason kicks off on Wednesday. But Vancouver Lancers, Very interesting offseason. Last run for little Johnny and these Lancers. And they select Wumar Leonard, a top tier running back, man. We'll see if he plays running back because he's listed into the draft as a running back. But really, this guy's an athlete. He can play the defensive line because he's a big fella. He can play the defensive line, man. He can play linebacker if he has to, man. He might even go play on the O-line. This guy, man, he's a weapon. He'll do a lot. He's a Swiss Army knife. Vancouver Lancers with the 9th pick select Wumar Leonard. Here we are, though, for the final pick here in the first round of the Season 14 rookie draft. Ghana Gazelles on the clock for their 3rd pick here in the first round. They got Alex Stain, a DB, at pick 2. And then they went with Lester Jr., a speedy wide receiver, at pick 5. Now they're here at pick 10, and they are going to get ready to select. Looks like you're coming up on the board with Adam Cole, a receiving tight end, 2nd tight end to go here in this draft and in the first round. That is a great pickup for the Gazelles. They lost Ken Carson, who was a young, promising tight end this past season. Now they got Adam Cole coming in here, man. That's a great pickup by the Gazelles. So far, they've had 3 picks, and it looks like they have hit on all 3 of them. Let's see, though, how they play out because it's still early. But, man, that was a great first round here. We've seen 10 prospects taken so far, and it's hard not to say it because they got 3 picks in the first round, but it's looking like the Ghana Gazelles really won that first round right there, man. They hit on all 3 of their selections. The Pumas did a really good job as well. I mean, they did have the 2nd most picks with 2 in that first round, but man, did they do a good job. They hit on both of those picks, and Riley O'Connell and Shaquille Oatmeal, 2 big defensive players for them. And then Pandas, of course, selecting Samuel Brown Jr. at tight end. He's a receiving tight end, man. He got a lot of comparisons to Travis Kelce. You might see him some in the slot, maybe as a receiver. You're not sure if you'll see him as a tight end come the start of season 14. But it's gonna be a lot of fun seeing how the rest of this draft plays out. We had a great first round. Still got 1.5 more rounds, but we're getting ready to start off with the second round here. Bermuda Blackguards are getting ready to come up on the clock for their first selection here in the draft. It's going to be great to see who they select. Pro Goat's first selection here as a general manager in the CWSFL. Let's get ready to see who he's going to select. They have a couple young pieces, man, that look good. They have a good young quarterback in Jaquan Freesmith. They have a receiving core in Pro Goat and Steph Curry. They got a Rookie of the Year running back in Jaquavion James. Man, they got Rangus McDangus at the old line, man. The offense looks good and young, man. So they're gonna add Willow Sun. Wow, a shutdown DB. Ooh, that's a good pick to go with. Antonio Brown Jr. and Moon Landing Stage, man. That's gonna really help round out the secondary and help pick some of the problems, which was the defense last year. Man, the offense gonna put up points, but they cannot stop anybody. Hopefully, Willow's son adding that to the secondary, man, will help with the defense coming into that one. But it looks like the Ghana Gazelles are on the clock here for another selection, man. They got so many picks. But the Ghana Gazelles here, they've had 3 great picks there in the first round. They went 2 offensive selections and 1 on the defense. We'll see if they stick now with an offensive heavier draft, or are they going to go to the defensive side? And it looks like it's going to be a defensive player. Trey Martin the second, man. Great pickup here. Trey Martin, the first guy, was a top tier safety for the Minnesota Polar Bears back in the day. Won a couple Gold Bowls with them. Then went over to the Houston Stags, helped pave the way and set the culture there as they were in the rebuilding modes, man. Was a veteran there. Took some time off there, retired. Man, haven't seen or heard from him. Next thing you know, bang, Trey Martin the second comes out of nowhere, dominating in the Spring Bowl, and now early second round pick to the Ghana Gazelles. That is a sleeper pick right there. That is a good pickup by the Gazelles. Making that defense, especially that secondary, look good. Alex Stain, now Trey Martin the second. Wow, that is a good one right there. But now we got the Sao Paulo Pumas coming in here. They had 2 selections in the first round with Riley O'Connell and Shaquille O'Neal, 2 defensive players. We'll see if they stay defensive heavy, and they do. It's Lucas Pukas, a athletic linebacker, man. This guy can play middle linebacker, can play outside linebacker. He's quick. His pass coverage is really well, as especially for a rookie coming in. He is also doesn't look to be quite as strong yet, so we'll have to see him hit the weight room and see how he develops some strength over his time here in the career. But he is very athletic. He can play outside or inside. It's going to be great to see how it plays out for him. The Egypt Pharaohs are on the clock here for their first selection of this Season 14 rookie draft, man. And they lost a lot on defensive ends, which was already pretty weak last season, but they lost everything they had defensively. Gone Taj Leatherwood, Lord Gold, both to the Berlin Hellhounds. They still have Gunny Jr. and Cletus McGee, but McGee's on the back end of his career. Gunny Jr. is starting to hit his prime, so that's a good one right there. So they're gonna need to stay on the defensive side here with their draft pick, and they do. Amir Walker II, a linebacker here. Looks like he's gonna be the guy to replace Taj Leatherwood and maybe even Lord Gold. We'll see if he plays inside or outside. He's also another one of those versatile linebackers that also like Lucas Pukas that just went. But man, Amir Walker II, that's gonna be it's gonna be a good little pickup there from the Pharaohs. It's a start to what they need on defense. So hopefully they can round off another pick that they have with another strong defensive player. But Ghana Gazelles are back on the clock here. Man, this is their 5th selection here in this draft for the 15th pick here. 5th pick in the 2nd round. And it looks like the Ghana Gazelles are getting ready to come on the clock and select Matt Hunter. Wow. This guy is a strong running back, man. I mean, he's like a bowling ball when he runs through the offensive line, man. He hits that hole, and it's whoo. I feel bad for whoever's stepping in front of him, man. But he, hey, man, that dude put up numbers in the Prospect Bowls. Even took home a Prospect Bowl MVP, I believe. I don't know, because sometimes team couldn't always get on the win, so I'm not sure if he ever got to take on the bowl or MVP. But that dude was putting up numbers. Like I said, he's a bowling ball. He's a great pickup by the Gazelles. And he also gets to go with Drew Davis, who is more of a receiving back. Drew Davis, that dude can catch it and get him in open space, and it's great. You compare that now with a bowling ball and Matt Hunter. To go right up the gut, man, that is lethal backfield. Gazelles are really putting something together there. But the Houston Stags are back on the clock for their 2nd pick here. William Simpson is now hopefully feeling a little bit more settled in now, so he's getting his 2nd pick under his belt. But it looks like Gordon Penn, a speedy wide receiver, is coming to that a strong wide receiver core that the Houston Stags have with William Simpson, Jordan Matthews. Now they get a young guy in Gordon Penn. He put his name into the draft. First Prospect Bowl he played in, balled out, won a Prospect MVP, and then the rest of the way he continued to put up great numbers as well. Gordon Penn, man, that is a great wide receiver, and it's going to be great to see Dominic Molpin get another young fresh legs in the receiving room that he can throw to, because man, he's ready to try to get one more ring before he can hang it up. But Argos Pegasi are on the clock now. They took Tank Downs earlier, a nice pass rusher in the 1st round with the 7th pick. Now they're here with the 7th pick in the 2nd round, and it looks like they're probably going to continue to lean defense as the offense looks pretty well put together, and it's going to be Javion Woods. Wow. Javon Woods. Wow. There you go, man. Another linebacker right there to add to it, because they lost, I believe they lost a linebacker or two in free agency. Nathan Forrest, I think that's who that was. And then they brought in Javon Woods, man, a young linebacker here. That this guy, man, he's pretty balanced. He's more though of a middle linebacker, and he's a little bit pass coverage. You can put him on the outside if you really need to, but no, I wouldn't have him blitzing on the outside, man. Let him back up, put him in pass coverage, let him do his thing. Related to the Woods family, part of the Woods family tree as well. Oh, man, so it's going to be a lot of fun to see how it plays out for his career with the Pegasus and continue to get so close but just not enough. We'll see how it plays out, though, coming up season 14. Bermuda Blackguard are back on the clock because they had a trade with the Minnesota Polar Bears where they received this pick, a little bit of TPE, where they sent Willow Sun to the Polar Bears, and they get James Hutchinson in replacement. Wow, that is a great pickup right there to go with Zachary James, who's in the linebacker core. And that dude, man, has been beasting and feasting so far with Bermuda. Now we get some help in James Hutchinson. That is a good pickup there and a good trade as well between the Polar Bears and the Blackguard. So William Son's going to the Polar Bears, and Polar Bears send this pick to the Blackguard, and the Blackguard take James Hutchinson. Great pickup right there. Great job by both teams working out a good deal that helps out both sides. But now the Vancouver Lancers are back here on the clock. Again, one of those teams that is pretty filled out, doesn't need a whole lot, so you know they're probably going to lean on the defensive side here unless they choose to go with just a straight athlete. But it looks like they're going to be more parlaying on the defensive side here, because they did take Umar Leonard earlier, who was a running back. And they're going to get Jackson Two-Face Dog, man, a linebacker. He's coming in, man. We'll see if he continues to play linebacker. He's also one of those that might move to the D-line. Pretty versatile because he's a bigger fella. So it's going to be great to see how the Lancers choose to play him. And this is, like I said earlier, man, it's Little Johnny's last run here with the Lancers. So we'll see how this season goes out for him. Hopefully, some of these rookies in Umar Leonard and Jackson Two-Face Dog will help them out and try to make one last push. But we got one more pick here coming up in the second round. As we've seen already, a lot of great prospects taken, and now we're going to see who's going to round us off in the second round here. 20th pick, Ghana Gazelles are on the clock. They have had a lot of amazing selections. This is the sixth one in the draft so far, and that's not even done. They still got one more pick coming up in the third round as well. But here in the second round, to round us off, man, pick 20, they're going to take a nice kicker and punter who, this guy, man, Sonny, is a dog, man. Some people thought he might slide earlier into the first or early second round because he was kicking like crazy in the prospect bowls. He's also got pro experience. He's coming over from another football league, and this guy is not rattled. He's a veteran. He does this. It's going to be great to see how his career unfolds here in the CWSFL as he's going to the Ghana Gazelles, and the Ghana Gazelles have continued to put on a draft clinic. Man, this has been fantastic. Alex Stain, Lester Jr., Adam Cole, Matt Hunter, Trey Martin II. Now they pick up Sonny. Man, this dude, man, they are this front office for the Gazelles have done an excellent job so far here in the first two rounds. But also, we saw a trade there in the second round, man. First trade here of the draft, man. The Blackguard and Polar Bears swap some picks, a little bit of TPE. Willow's son goes to the Polar Bears. Great fit for him. Also in the part of the Clout family tree. Clout, longtime legend of the Polar Bears. So that is a great pickup. Willow's son going to play a defense after they lost Lonzo Connick to the Hellhounds in free agency from the Polar Bears. So Willow's son will help replace him there. So that's a great pickup there. And then James Hutchinson getting to help Zachary James there in the linebacker core. That is a great win-win scenario by both teams. Glad we got to see that happen there in the second round. But it is now time for the third round, the final 5 picks. We have 5 great prospects still on the board. Somebody's going to get some steals here in the third round. And we're going to start off with the Bermuda Blackguard for the 21st pick here in the CWSFL Season 14 Rookie Draft. And it looks like the Blackguard are going to select Dallas Miller, a speedy wide receiver, Prospect Bowl MVP, and one of them. Dude put up numbers as well. Him and Gordon Penn were on the same team a couple times, and they were balling out together. It's like a 1-2 punch. Couldn't be stopped. Only problem is he had Matt Hunter on the other side, man. Big bowler ball running over everyone. But Dallas Miller, man, is going to be there with Pro Goat, Steph Curry. Put Dallas Miller, speedy fella, maybe throw him in the slot. Gives a young Jaquan Friesman Jr., man, a lot of amazing targets to throw to. They have a good backfield in Ray Jennings and James. It's going to be a lot of fun to see how Black Guard's offense plays out this season, especially in the West that could be up for grabs this season. But Ghana Gazelles are back on the clock. This time it's for the last time. We're going to get to see how they make their selection, man. And this time, the Ghana Gazelles, for their final pick, is going to get an offensive lineman, C. Abelman. Wow. This guy. Some people question his run blocking coming into the draft because he was so good as a pass blocker, but most of his run blocking was when they brought in fresh legs. But let me tell you, it's just he was playing on a really deep offensive line back in college, man, in Notre Dame. So it's going to be a lot of fun to see how this one plays out. That's going to be a good one. And they added Rocky Ravioli in free agency. That's a good O-line for a guy like Mike Vick Jr. Just sit behind and throw to his young receiver Lester Jr. Maybe even Adam Cole with the tight end. But Sao Paulo Pumas are on the clock here. We're going to see who they choose to select after the Ghana Gazelles have just finished up their 7th pick, final pick here in this draft. But Pumas are on the clock now for their final pick. They've had 3 great picks so far here in the first 2 rounds. Now they're here to make their final selection with C.J. James, another wide receiver, back in second one here in this 3rd round. I was about to say back-to-back, but nope. Almost. So C.J. James was in the draft last season. Chose not to sign. Didn't like where he went, I guess. Agent, maybe money didn't work out. Not sure what happened there. We're not really going to get into it because, well, past is a past. Time to move on to the future. C.J. James going to the Sao Paulo Pumas with Chasing Dreams and Babatron, I believe, is the other receiver out there. But it's going to be a great job to see how the Sao Paulo Pumas use C.J. James, especially Jackson Graves, great young quarterback, really coming into his own last season. Now he has another young weapon to mess with. It's going to be great to see how that connection works out. But Egypt Pharaohs are on the clock here with their 2nd pick here in the draft. In the 3rd round, 24th pick, they're going to go with the offensive line to replace Rocky Ravioli. They go with a Big Dan. Big Dan, man. This dude, woo, he is a big fella, and he has been playing offensive line for not a long time, man. It's a crazy story. Dude's walking down the hallway in college, man, just walking down the hallway. One of the assistant coaches, man, I think it was just like a graduate assistant, saw him, was like, man, we got to get you on the field. You ever played football? He said, nah, man, I'm a rugby star. Next thing you know, this guy is now getting selected in the CWSFL as an offensive lineman here to play for the Egypt Pharaohs. It's going to be great to see how his career unfolds, man. A guy from rugby playing at intramural in college gets picked up in the hallway, and now he's going to be playing for the Egypt Pharaohs. Going to be great to see how that one plays out. But the final pick here in the CWSFL Season 14 draft, the Houston Stags select Max Money Yandi, a shutdown DB. Dude, this guy almost didn't even make it into the draft. He was such a late entry, and he's the Mr. Irrelevant because of it. But this guy is going to put up great numbers for the Houston Stags. I doubt he even plays defensive back for them. I feel like he's going to play linebacker because he's usually in a lot of formations. The guy can play in the box. He can play safety. He can play in the box. He can play corner as well, man. You can put him in a lot of nickel and dime formations, man. This guy is very good. He's very versatile, and he is a great defensive player. Honestly, if he would have been entered into the draft sooner, you might have saw him in the 1st round. But he is the last pick here in the CWSFL Season 14 rookie draft, man. Max Money Yandi. And that is going to do it here for the CWSFL draft. That is 25 amazing prospects here off the board. And now, after a long wait due to some snowstorms, they finally figure out what is going to be home for the next few seasons, and it's time to sign those rookie deals. We had a lot of great picks, a lot of deep picks here in this draft because it was a deep draft. It's going to be great to see how it all unfolds for everyone. But we got the preseason coming up on Wednesday. We appreciate everybody watching and tuning in. Peace out. We'll see y'all then.